After analyzing 500 of the most successful fashion brand names, I discovered 9 surprising patterns that almost nobody talks about, including one mistake that's killing over 90% of fashion startups before they even get off the ground. And if you're thinking of starting your own brand, you'll want to watch this video all the way to the end, because I'm about to save you from making the $50,000 mistake I see fashion entrepreneurs make time and time again. The first step in analyzing all 500 of these successful brands is by opening up either Claude or ChatGPT. I specifically started with Claude and used this prompt. Create a list of 500 fashion brands that are successful in terms of revenue, brand valuation, market share, or global recognition. Do not provide information about the brands, only provide the names in a list. Then Claude came up with this list of 500 global fashion brands that have achieved success through various metrics like revenue, brand value, market presence, and global recognition. It then put all of those fashion brands into a document. As you can see, here are all 500 of the brand names. Once I had the list of all 500 names, I then opened up ChatGPT and used this prompt. I will provide a list of 500 successful global fashion brands. Analyze the list for patterns. Identify as many patterns as possible. Once you've identified the patterns, distill the most important and most common patterns. The goal is to have a complete understanding of why the names for these fashion brands work and how they contribute to the success of the brands. Here's the list. I use the new O1 model from ChatGPT, which has an extremely large context window. Basically, I get to copy and paste all 500 of the brand names directly into the chat rather than having to upload them as a document. The new O1 model is extremely smart and regularly operates at a PhD level. It also cited a ton of sources, including books from Harvard professors, and I left the link to all those sources in this document as well. Pattern number 1 is eponymous or founder-based names. A significant number of brands originate from the names of their founders or key designers. For example, Louis Vuitton, Hermès, Chanel, Prada, Dior, Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, and Calvin Klein. These names leverage the personal legacy, vision, and creative credibility of an individual. Over time, the founder's narrative adds authenticity, tradition, and cultural capital. Pattern number 2, single distinctive word or short names. Many successful brands embrace simplicity and memorability with concise names, often 1 or 2 syllables, like Gucci, Fendi, Dior, Nike, Puma. Short names are phonetically easy to pronounce and remember, and they're globally adaptable, which helps each brand cut through the noise in a crowded marketplace. Pattern number 3, use of non-English or foreign heritage names. Many of the leading luxury brands use European names, like Hermès, Givenchy, Balenciaga, Bottega Veneta, and Loewe. Linguistic associations with European fashion capitals like Paris, Milan, or Florence can heighten the perceived prestige. Pattern number 4, cultural, geographic, or lifestyle associations, like Patagonia, which is named after the South American region, Burberry, named after Thomas Burberry, associated with British heritage, Arc'teryx, a reference to the Archaeopteryx, a dinosaur, linking to a rugged outdoor ethos, evident by the use of the Archaeopteryx fossil for the logo. And the last example is the North Face, which is a climber's term referencing the hardest side of a mountain. These names signal authenticity and brand mission, aligning with the brand's core product use cases or cultural positioning. Pattern number 5, abstract, evocative, or conceptual names. Some modern brands opt for names that evoke a feeling, a concept, or an identity rather than a direct reference to a person or place, like Supreme, which conveys dominance, premium position, and top-tier status just from the definition of the word supreme. Off-white suggests a conceptual space between pure white and color, mirroring a brand that challenges conventions and societal norms. Cause emphasizes minimalism and curation, the collection of style. These names create room for a flexible brand narrative, often appealing to consumers' desire for uniqueness and individuality. Pattern number 6, acronyms and initialism. Brands like H&M, APC, Y3, and Huff rely on letter combinations that may stem from the founder's initials like H&M, and these names become potent signifiers if the brand experience is strong. The letters themselves become an aesthetic identity. I don't know a lot of people that flex H&M, but everybody has an idea of what H&M is, what it looks like, what it smells like, what it sounds like as soon as you hear those 2 initials. Pattern number 7, descriptive or functional names. Some names highlight a brand's functional aspect or product category by using age, or demographic terms like Forever 21, Express, and Old Navy. Forever 21 targets young, trend-conscious shoppers. Express suggests fast, modern, and Old Navy implies casual, family-friendly clothing. Some brands use style descriptors like Athletic Works, True Religion, Pink, and White House Black Market. The word athletic clearly defines that it's sports-focused. True Religion suggests an authentic or devoted style. Pink by Victoria's Secret is feminine and youthful, appealing to the younger end of the Victoria's Secret demographic. White House Black Market describes a color palette and style which is evident if you were to ever step foot in one of those stores. It looks exactly how the name sounds. And then geographic and cultural references like American Eagle represents casual American style. French Connection, which is a European fashion influenced brand. Banana Republic, which at least started as a tropical / safari inspired brand. And New York and Company, which showcases classic metropolitan style. Number 8, we have patterns of repetition and reinforcement in streetwear and for contemporary brands. Streetwear brands often choose short, punchy names that become emblems of subculture, like Stussy, Kith, Palace, Awake New York. These often have cultural weight, slang roots, or reference niche communities, appealing to tastemakers and insiders. When the brand becomes championed by tastemakers and insiders, the brand name itself can become a badge of identity. And number 9, global pronounceability and adaptability. Many brand names are chosen for their ease of pronunciation across multiple languages. Simplicity of sound helps brands traverse international markets. Or in simpler terms, it's just easier to go global. If more people around the world can pronounce your name, then it'll be easier to fit into that international market. So those are the 9 patterns, but why do these patterns work? Most of these names tell a story and appeal to people's emotions. A founder's name or a culturally rich term can tell an immediate story. Consumers embrace brands that have a narrative or a heritage that they can connect with. And when that happens, the logo or brand name becomes a meaningful symbol for that customer. The next reason these patterns work is because they're easy to remember. In a saturated marketplace, a name that sticks in the minds and rolls off the tongue often makes the difference, which ends up leading to higher revenue, more sales, more company growth, etc. Names that emphasize craftsmanship, cultural roots, or conceptual identities help move brands into their own position in the market, which helps the customer perceive the value of the brand, influencing price tolerance. Price tolerance refers to a buyer's willingness to pay. Specifically, it's the maximum price that a buyer is willing to pay above the lowest market price. These names are culturally credible, aligning with cultural or linguistic signifiers like European craftsmanship, being authentic to street culture, or displaying athletic prowess, like in all the examples we saw, allows the name to instantly communicate the brand's domain expertise, which directly speaks to a very specific customer profile. If you have the word athletic in the brand name, you need to cater to athletes because those are the people who are right away going to resonate with the brand just from the name alone. The single biggest error is selecting a name that fails to convey a distinctive, memorable identity. I see a lot of newcomers when they're first starting their brand lean towards overly generic or complicated names, making it difficult for consumers to remember the brand. If the name does not evoke the desired story, values, or persona of the target customer just by looking at it, it risks blending into the background noise. Here are 10 examples of poor brand names that use this naming mistake. Trendy clothes for you, overly literal and generic, lacks sophistication. Glamorio, forced made-up word that feels awkward and hard to spell. Fashion World Unlimited, bland and indistinct, blends into a crowded market. Edgy Togs, tries too hard to be trendy but sounds outdated and unappealing. Clothingscape, overly descriptive and lacks any emotional resonance. Chic It Up, too informal and lacks the professionalism expected in fashion branding. And so on. If you want to read this full list, check out the document. So that is it for this video. If you found this interesting or learned something new, please smash the like and subscribe buttons. It helps me out so much in the algorithm. If you want access to all of my resources, whiteboards, PDFs, and slides like the one you saw in this video, be sure to download them at the link in the description. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover in the future, please leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.